Hello, Aries, and welcome to the Manifesting You YouTube channel. This is your love and romance general tarot reading for the month of 16. Keep in mind, you can also check out your rising and your moon sign. That gives you greater insight. And I've shuffled, so let's get started. Okay, Aries, this first card is going to represent your expectations, hopes, and fears for love in the month of September. The second card is going to represent the challenge or the obstacle to overcome. And the third card is going to represent the outcome or the realization. Okay, Aries, so expectations, hopes, fears. We have the Hermit, and it is in the reverse. So the Hermit, on the surface, we got to talk about the surface signs. It is the sign of Virgo. So some of you might be actually dealing with a Virgo or an earth sign. But it could also relate to that the last few months, you've been kind of doing your own thing. You've been going solo. You've been taking time out. You've really needed time to be independent and to seek knowledge, to maybe go on a trip out in nature. Maybe you've just taken off, and it's about you this month wanting to kind of come down off the mountain. That the time that you have taken to for introspection, for knowledge, for learning in regards to your relationships, that you realize that you can't stay on that mountain forever. You can't isolate yourself forever, and you have to come back to reality. You have to come back to interacting with others. I feel like some of you have gone onto the mountaintop because you were overwhelmed with a situation, a relationship, a partnership, and you just needed space and you needed time away to think about it and figure it out. Now, because the Hermit is in the reverse, there is a feeling of being a little overwhelmed. So maybe you feel a little overwhelmed by what you have discovered or encountered about another person or your relationship or a sign. Because when the Hermit is in reverse, it's like there's a fear of having to face the facts. It's like not wanting to face the truth or the music because you realize what has to change. And so there has maybe been an avoidance of doing this. But I do feel like this month you're really like, okay, I have to come down from the mountain. I have to face the facts. I have to face the reality about the situation or myself or the changes that need to be made. And there still might be a temptation to go within, to want to stay here, to want to continue to be introspective and want to figure it out. Like there's a feeling of like, I really need to figure the situation out. And even if I'm kind of isolating myself, I'm going to do it because I'm determined. When the Hermit is reversed, it can also talk about loneliness. So even if you're in a relationship, you might be feeling disconnected from that person. Or there's also can be a fear of loneliness. Like if you're very independent and you're solo and you just kind of do your own thing, it's like, what if I'm alone forever? So there is kind of a feeling of a fear about being alone or feeling lonely in a relationship. I feel like this month, a lot of you Aries are realizing that, yes, you're independent and there's a part of you that can just totally be on your own and be fine with it. But you're realizing that, that's not totally realistic and that it's time, maybe after a period of time, to either reconnect with a lover or to search for a relationship. And, you're ready to kind of stop being so isolated and a loner or independent, and you're ready to connect with someone else. It's kind of like the awareness and the realization, not necessarily that you're going to do it, but that you have a desire to do that. Because there's a fear of being alone, or, you don't want to be alone forever. So for some of you, it's like you've been living on the side of a hill and just kind of like not in the mode for relationship, not wanting to put forth the effort to get really close. You're more interested in seeking out knowledge or pursuing your own path and passion. But I do feel like this month you're kind of like, I need to interact more in relationships because I don't want to grow old alone. And there's a little bit of dissettlement here and a need for change. So I feel that you're coming to that realization this month and realizing that you're trying to balance out your independence with, interacting and depending on a partner. Okay, so the challenge or the obstacle, very interesting, Aries. We have the Lovers card, but it's in the reverse. And this is the sign of Gemini. So a challenging sign for some of you could be Gemini this month. And the Lovers reversed is almost like communication has broken down in one of your relationships, or you're having a hard time communicating in the way it's not coming across the way that you would like it to. I feel like, and this kind of correlates with the Hermit in reverse, is that you're seeking God and you're seeking your intuition to understand. Something has broken down, or a relationship is not fulfilling you the way it has in the past. And so you're trying to understand it. You're trying to connect with spirit to make sense of what has happened. You've been looking within to find the answers. So in relationship, this is a sign that it has changed. The relationship has changed, or it is no longer fulfilling the needs, the emotional needs that it once did. There's also, once again, there's a reluctance to commit here with this card. And there's actually an avoidance of taking a relationship to that next level. And at the root of this, Aries, for either yourself or your partner or potential partner, the cause is a lack of self-love or a low self-esteem on either the other person, or maybe that's something that you've been grappling with. Somebody is mirroring the other partner. It's creating a low sense of self-worth in one or both of the partners. So somehow the way the relationship has been mirrored, it's not reflecting the highest positive love frequencies for the other person. So there's like a breakdown in communication, and it's not helping either you or your partner or potential to feel good. It's like it's actually affecting someone's self-esteem. So I feel like the biggest challenge for you this month in love is communicating, Aries, communicating how you're truly feeling. And someone may not even know how to approach you. Like there's issues and there's disharmony, but it's like, how do you even talk about it? And even immoral behavior. So there's just a feeling here of like not wanting to commit, not wanting to be faithful, wanting to just kind of be free and roam, and not wanting to, be pinned down. So what I feel like you're struggling with is that it's either, for you, Aries, it's not the right time to take this to the next level or to move forward. Like you're not ready. And I kind of get that with the Hermit reversed, because there's a reluctance to come down from the mountain. And it's like, you need to, but there's a reluctance to do so. It's either that or the timing is just not right. There hasn't been a right time for you and this person to communicate and to the timing is not right. This is about kind of enjoying the novelty of like a new and exciting relationship. But once that wears off, it's like, I don't want to take it to the next level. I'm more about the beginning aspect of it. And there's a pattern here of bailing out when things start getting really serious. And the Lovers card represents that kind of adolescent type love, like teenage love. And so when it's in reverse, there's an emotional immaturity to either one or both of the partners. So that's also preventing like a deep connection. You might have someone, Aries, that's into you and you're just not feeling it. You're just not feeling it. And there's pressure to take it to the next level, and you're hesitant. You're kind of fighting it. So the outcome for some of you here is the King of Cups in the reverse. And the King of Cups is a water sign. I don't feel that any of you are dealing with a water sign. Some of you could, but what I feel that this is mainly is it's addressing how you're feeling about this situation. It's like you don't want to be romantic with this person, the kind of more the people that I'm picking up on. And it's like turbulent emotions about being single or in relationship or whatever it is. I feel that your moods have been shifting a lot about this person or this situation. And you're kind of feeling overwhelmed with it all, overwhelmed emotionally with this relationship. When the King of Cups reverses, it's like a stressed feeling, emotionally stressed. And instead of emotionally giving and being romantic, it's like, I'm going to withdraw instead. I'm going to withdraw love, withdraw my affections. I'm going to cool off. I'm going to kind of show indifference, like I'm not totally interested in the situation. And then if this is someone that you're dealing with, Aries, it's someone that's unbalanced and doesn't really have control over their emotions. This can even be someone that's struggling with some type of addiction. This is kind of an energy like, don't trust me. You know, I'm not at a trustworthy place in life. And maybe you have been honest or tried to be honest with someone and they're just not accepting it. They're not accepting what you're telling them, or they're not reading in between the lines. So if this isn't you, Aries, just kind of feeling emotionally unstable in the situation, it could be an emotionally immature partner and someone that's just been really needy. And that could be why you've been kind of hesitant to commit, to go deeper, because maybe they're putting too many demands on you. This person could be really sensitive to criticism, and maybe that's why you haven't really wanted to communicate with them, because they're like hypersensitive, so you have to kind of walk on eggshells. And you want to communicate, you're trying to communicate, but it's tough to communicate with someone that's very hypersensitive. So you might be emotionally distant and backing off. And because of this, if you're dealing with this kind of personality, the result would be you showing emotional coldness. And whatever's happening for you, Aries, I feel like there's a cooling off emotionally. It's like, you know that you need to interact more. I feel like there's kind of a hesitancy a kind of a lack of communication. And I feel like ultimately there's going to be a cooling off of your emotional intensity, or taking it to another level. I hope this has helped you. If it has, I would appreciate for you to like and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day.